Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time we're going to be taking a look at issue 6 of the Men's Adventure Quarterly, and this one is the Heist issue. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and let's take a look. Okay then, so I thought it would be quite fun to go back and look at the original issues of the Men's Adventure Quarterly right back to number 1, because they are on different themes and there may be one that you fancy reading that you've not seen or heard about before, and these of course are all available on Amazon, so you can just jump on there and grab them, or from various other websites as well. This first one was like a Wild West issue. Number 2 here was like the old espionage one, and number 3 was sort of looking at the Mac Bolan sort of men's adventure titles. Issue 4 was Jungle Girls. The last issue was on dirty missions, or dirty dozen, that sort of thing. And this latest one here, which is the one we're going to be looking at in detail today, is the Heist issue, which is a subject very close to my heart. So that's what we're going to be looking at right now. So here is the issue number 6, and it's got that great cover by Mort Kunstler, and Bob mentions in one of his editorials that this could have been a scene from that first Mission Impossible film with Tom Cruise there precariously on like a zip wire there trying to break open the bank. Brilliant stuff, and I do really love the heist genre, be it in TV series, stuff like Hustle or Mission Impossible, for example, or movies, of which we'll see more a little bit later. But absolutely great design of these by Bill Cunningham, and you'll see throughout these just get better and better every single issue, and they really bring that old sort of artwork back to life with the graphic design. So here's Bob's initial editorial, and it's celebrating Mort Kunstler's 95th birthday, and he of course did that great jacket on the front there. Yeah, Bob published a book, of course, Mort Kunstler, the godfather of pulp illustration. Now, here's the contributors, and I did actually have a small piece in this one, which I was delighted to contribute just on my favourite heist movies, but that's the 4 contributors this issue, including Paul Bishop, so a very knowledgeable chap, and got me into far more westerns than I'd care to admit to, and I'm really looking forward to Paul, who's launching a brand new podcast, Complications Always Ensue, which looks at a caper and heist podcast. What a great theme, eh? So I should definitely be listening to that one. Here's another one here, looking at the gentleman thieves, as it were, people like Lupin, Lavender Hill Mob, that sort of thing, throughout history, and that's really great. Here's my little piece on my top 5 favourite heist films. Some good ones in there, I'm sure you'll agree. Great stuff. And here's another guest editorial here by Paul Bishop. This is once again looking at classic heist movies, his favourites, and also some of the books as well that they were based on, which is cool. And then we're into the Flying Bank Looters. It's the first of the 6 or 7 stories that are featured here. This one's from Man's World, October 1967. Tom Christopher was his name, and that was a pseudonym for Thomas Chastain. And he wrote under a lot of different pseudonyms, and often these writers would write under a pseudonym so that they didn't seem a bit samey and overused, as it were. So for each of the stories, Bob gives a bit of a background about the author, about the magazine and the context in which it was produced, and then you get the full story to enjoy at your leisure with all the glorious artwork as well. And it's all been beautifully enhanced and absolutely fantastic to look at here. Quite a lot of these they would actually use like stock stills in effect, sometimes from movies as well, even though they had no relation to the actual story. And some of the stories were completely fiction, other ones had a little grain of truth. Get the old cartoon like you would have in the original men's mags. Here's the second one here. So this is GI. The GI stuck-up heist, which was 33 million in Nazi gold. Illustrated Bruce Minnie. It's that was the Jack Davis artwork from Mad magazine. And that was provided for the Kelly's Hero poster, which was itself in effect like a heist film, wasn't it? Here we are, GI stick-up mob that heisted 33 million in Nazi gold. There we are. That's the full title. Great stuff. As I said, you'll get the full story in there with any internal art reproduced as well. Next we have a little feature on Angie Dickinson. Real sort of pin-up of her day. Still around today. She's getting on a little bit now, but what a heartthrob in her time. And had a very, very long career, probably over 6 or 7 decades in actual fact. So this is looking at her career. She was famously in the original Ocean's 11, but she was in so many other things. Absolutely massive, massive career. At one point tied romantically, possibly with Frank Sinatra, with JFK as well. Definitely a cinema icon. And you, without fail, would have seen her in countless movies over the years. Next we've got Iron Shark. Stop California's Iron Shark Heist Commandos. Another one with a Mort Kunstler jacket there, front cover illustration, and interior illustration by Gil Cohen. And he did a lot of the Executioner covers later on. Here we are, here's the original magazine story. And I'm not sure, but this does seem, I think, is the biggest issue yet. Really, really thick. I'm not sure how many pages. I think let's have a quick look here. I think we're looking at close to 150 pages. It's, in actual fact, it's more like a book than a magazine. It really, really is great stuff. There are all the previous issues that we just had a little look at. And here we are, available worldwide on Amazon, also from menspulpmags.com, Bud Plant Books and Stuart NG Books as well. And if you are in the UK, which is where I am, I found Amazon is the easiest place to grab these. So, Band of Misfits. This is from Action for Men, which is this one here from January 1970. Cover art once again by Mort Kunstler. Interior artwork by Earl Norham. There's a little interview there with him by Bob Dice, and here we are. And once again, it's the full story. Then we got the Great Sierra Mob Heist. As I said, every single one has got a little introduction, so you know exactly where it is in its historical context before you actually dive in and read it, which is fantastic. I love a little bit of background before I read these stories. It's great. Now we got the Wild Bunch, the Wild GI Bunch, I should say. Now this one features art by Samson Pollan. Bob has already published 3 books on Samson Pollan's artwork, and although he sadly passed away, his widow is still keeping the flame alive and his family. There's Bob with one of his original paperback jackets, which is pretty cool. There we are, the GI Wild Bunch. And a lot of them, because of the time that they were printed, not forgetting Vietnam was raging at this point, mentioning GIs, it was quite common practice. And they were trying to relate to the people who would be reading these books and magazines. There we are. GI Hastings, who pulled a $2 million gold heist. And here's some more background on these, and also some of the books being published also by Bill Cunningham. He designs and writes some of these. Absolutely fantastic. Here we are. Here's the main story here. GI Hastings, who pulled a $2 million gold heist. And this is another new venture, which is the Men's Adventure Reader. So do check that one out. This is in hardback. It's got classic men's adventure stories if you're hungry for a bit more. Then we have a look at sort of the Kung Fu angle and Kung Fu Vengeance Heisters, and how because of the time that this one was printed, which was this issue here was from November 1973, and very much influenced by the kung fu craze at that time, which would have of course included Bruce Lee and his early films. And that sort of rounds out this issue, which I think you'll agree it's an absolute triumph, this one. It really is great stuff, and definitely a recommended read and a fine addition to your men's adventure library. Here's another book recently reviewed on the channel that George Gross covered, which is the famous cover artist. Fantastic book, that one. Next month, or next quarter I should say, so next issue, Girl Gangs, Good Girls Gone Bad. Well, can't wait for that. Brilliant stuff. Yes, a great issue. So if you've enjoyed looking through that one, do please give this video a thumbs up. Do please head to Amazon and grab yourself a copy of this one, because it is a fantastic issue and a really great fun read. Thank you very much for watching today, and I'll look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.